Joining us now to discuss is Kristen Smith. She's the executive director at the Blockchain Association, a crypto lobbying group in DC. Kristen, thank you for joining us. You are also one of CoinDesk's most influential this year, I believe.
Last year. I didn't make the cut this year.
Pardon me, last year. And
maybe next year.
If political donations made by Sam Bankman-Fried are clawed back, what impact might that have on candidates relying on them? Will they think twice before taking donations from crypto companies or folks in the industry?
Yeah, no, I think it's a very interesting question because often what happens when you have political action committees or super PACs is once that money is donated, it's usually fairly quickly spent. We just wrapped up an election cycle. The couple weeks preceding an election is when most campaign contributions are spent. Candidates need to spend money in order to send out mailers, in order to get airtime up. And with super PACs, they do what are called independent expenditures, where they go into the field and support a candidate. And so I think there's some interesting questions as to, is any of that money still there? It's probably been passed along already. And if so, do they actually get it back? Because if it turns out that the source of these funds were indeed customer deposits, that's obviously a massive misuse. I just don't know. It could be that the genie is out of the bottle and they won't be able to get it back in.
And will it make politicians think twice about taking political contributions from folks or entities in crypto?
Well, listen, I am a personal, giver myself. We have a PAC at the Blockchain Association. I think what this is really going to do is force individual members in Congress and other candidates to really think about who it is that they're dealing with. I think that, FTX came in hot to Washington. They were incredibly active on the political scene. And they disappeared, in an equally dramatic way. I think that for those people who are working and building in the crypto industry, who have been around a long time, we do have good relationships and good reputations with these lawmakers. And I think that, we'll be able to continue to engage in the political process. But yeah, I do think you make a good point, Christine. They may just not want to deal with this for a while. And, that certainly is their prerogative. And, I think that there's a lot of enthusiasm, within the crypto community for participating in the political process. And it may take some time to recover from, the damage that Sam has wrought on Washington.
I wonder what your thoughts are on Sam Bankman-Fried's highly anticipated testimony before Congress tomorrow. He did this media tour. Now he's doing the Congressional tour. Later, he may have to do a court tour. But it's interesting because there was a lot of thought on whether or not he would appear virtually or in person. But he reportedly will not be coming to the U.S. to testify in D.C. because he's worried about the paparazzi.
I would be worried about more than the paparazzi if I were Sam and I were setting foot on U.S. soil. But listen, I think, first of all, the fact that the House and the Senate are having these hearings these weeks is a positive sign. This is what Congress is supposed to be doing in times like this. What we don't want them to be doing is rushing through legislation that hasn't been vetted or that nobody understands. So this is the right time for Congress to be asking questions and learning about what happened. I'm actually most excited for the House hearing tomorrow, because in addition to Sam, who obviously has been on his media tour here, and we've heard from him quite a bit, I'm actually most excited to hear from John Ray, who is the current CEO of FTX, the former Enron executive who is coming in, or former Enron bankruptcy cleanup person, I should say, who's coming in to try to sort out this bankruptcy for FTX. I think we will learn more from John Ray than probably any other interview or hearing that we've had. And so we're watching him very closely. He just released this afternoon his written testimony online on the website that goes quite into detail about what he's seen. And so I think that we're mostly looking forward to learning from John Ray.
Definitely very interesting, and a counterpoint to Sam for sure. You also wrote an article for us on CoinDesk.com, how crypto can repair its reputation in Washington. So what is the mood in DC regarding crypto? And if crypto has to repair its reputation, how might it that? I guess it goes to assume that the reputation of crypto is not so great right now.
Yeah, no, this is a massive setback. There's no doubt about it. But the good news is, Blockchain Association, we've been around for about 4.5 years now. Other groups have been around longer. There've been a couple other ones that have popped up in the past few years. There's individual companies who have people in Washington in the crypto space. FTX wasn't the only voice in Washington, and it's going to be incumbent upon us who are still around, who are actually building good and meaningful things, to go and tell those stories. And we have a tremendous amount of work to do. We're doubling down on education of the Blockchain Association in the first quarter of next year, and it's going to take a lot of conversations. But I think by maintaining our presence, by continuing to engage with policymakers, we can get beyond this current crisis and return to working with the bipartisan set of policymakers who are interested in finding the right regulatory framework in order to both protect consumers, but also really allow the innovation to thrive here. So it's going to take some time, but I think, if we continue to work hard and coordinate as an industry, we will be able to get beyond this crisis.
Kristen, as we come to a close of 2022, what are some of your predictions in 2023?
I hope 2023 is better than 2022, that's for sure. But listen, I think that we're going to see a number of bipartisan legislative proposals that are put forth. I think that those are going to be very much vetted and debated by multiple committees in Congress, and that we really could see some momentum around getting some legislation done. We're also watching the courts very closely as well. I think, we've got the Ripple case, the Grayscale case, we've got some of the Tornado Cash lawsuits that are out there. We're going to be watching those as well, because we could see policy made, through court process, which is not ideal, but it's a road that we're headed down, and so we're eager to see the outcomes of those events as well.